Turn it down a bit. Oh my God, it happened. It happened. Ole Miss up 10-0 up Florida. Alabama, Texas, and Georgia just started. We're gonna go to this game real quick, but we do also have some other other games to talk about. Nation. Don't worry, I'll play the clown music for Alabama. I don't think they deserve it though, but they might get it soon. Let me make sure that you guys, yeah, it is there. The beauty of a score. 23-20. Got the Texas and Georgia game going. One nightmare is over for OU. They're still everything. Their nightmare is over. They've gone on the road and they've beaten the number 4 team in the nation. Let me make sure you guys can see me standing. So and Alabama goes to their first conference loss. What did I tell you? What did I tell you all? What did I tell you? The underdog prevails. What did I tell you about this game? I proved you right. You guys are wrong. I told you so. I told you all week I had full confidence in Oklahoma beating Alabama, and they beat them. However, it was a heart-dropping game. I kid you not, my heart felt like it was going to explode. I'll sit down in a moment, but Arch Manning and Gunnar Stockton about to do it out. We got John Mateer and Ty Simpson duked it out, but now it's the other quarterback duel of the year, Stockton and Manning. We'll go right ahead. 1 down, 2 to go. Red River opponent 1 has survived, Oklahoma. But now the second Red River opponent, will they survive? Mind you, even though I'm not going to be biased anymore, I do have to say I am rooting for the first time. I am actually going to root for Georgia to win. Because if they win, they knock Texas out. And we jump Texas. So now you got to pray that Kirby Smart can do Kirby Smart. Can be smart. Because if Kirby Smart wins, Oklahoma has won their shot to the playoffs and have they gave the middle finger to the committee and set their sights on beating the hardest schedule in college football history. They are the number one. They got the number one hardest schedule in college football history. All were at one point ranked teams. Although that has changed, let's stay at the preseason. When we got this schedule for Oklahoma, guess what they just did? They beat. Okay, here I'm gonna sit down now. You guys can see me. They've beaten Michigan. They've beaten Auburn. They've beaten South Carolina. They lost to Texas. They lost to Ole Miss. They win Tennessee and they win against Alabama. Oh, Elena just text me. I'm out with my. Just had to text Elena real quick. Turn it down a bit. Wow. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Enough bragging. Let's go ahead and talk about it. (23-21). The box score is not pretty. John Mateer, 15-23. Ty Simpson, 28-42. John Mateer had the better passing, had the better percentage overall. Both, even though John Mateer had 138. So here's the issue. Well, here's the reason. Going back to that game, let's break it down. So that game, what was Oklahoma? Also, I would be surprised. I'd be happy if you took the over in this game, because that's going to be one of the best bets you've ever made. It's also why I don't ever bet. But let's go over it. So, John Mateer and Tyson. So what happens? So the game for Oklahoma, no matter what, the only way Oklahoma was going to win was if they can establish the run and expose the run game for Alabama. They exposed it better than every other team before them. Okay. Let's take it. So Alabama throughout the entire season has not only been playing with fire, but they have been able to get away with some mistakes because they'd always win in the end. So you would look past that. However, remember, Oklahoma is the number one pass rush team. That defense is the number one defense in the SEC, maybe even in the entire nation. They're number 2 in the nation, but number 1 in the SEC. Here's why that mattered. If they got to Ty Simpson, Oklahoma would have a shot. And guess what Ty Simpson did? They got to him. One interception, and a strip, and a sack. And how many sacks? Who rushing? Let's see. Receiving, fumbles. Yeah, each of them had one fumble, except one of them had it lost. Yeah, I went over that earlier. Sorry. So I was going to do the live stream, but things happened, so I just did not do it anyways. But if we look at the stats here, Satinga, one fumble, but nothing happened. But this one, Ty Simpson had that strip fumble when he threw it like this, and then the ball came out, and he picked it up. And so that was lost, and that's what gave it in. Ryan Williams had that fumble, and then Daniel Hill. The defense, here you go. Here's the difference between Oklahoma and Alabama in this game. Here was the difference in how this game was going to go. Look at this. Sacks. So if we go down here, 4 sacks to Alabama's 2, which means Oklahoma won the turnover battle. And we were saying this all week. Even Thursday, we said it as well on the show. If Oklahoma can establish, and I think if Oklahoma can establish the turnover and win the turnover battle with their defense, which they can do, mind you, then they can run it up on Alabama. Because the one thing Alabama can't do is stop the run. And John, even though they didn't run it as much, that was not a factor, because again, the biggest strength for Oklahoma was their defense. The biggest weakness for Alabama was their run game. But they already don't need it. They just threw it out entirely. This game, they also just threw it out. They only used it a couple times, but mainly it was Ty Simpson. So they just threw out their run game but this time, Arch Manning throws, caught. Yeah, good. I'm gonna make sure this is not too loud. Yeah, I don't want it to be. You can hear it, whatever. It's not that bad. But yeah, just looking at this was the difference right here. This is the reason Oklahoma had won this game. And it was also because they not only made the right calls, the right plays, and the needed plays. Ty Simpson just had an off day. You can't beat them all, and they were going to trip up, and they tripped up to none other than the Sooners. And for ladies and gentlemen, like last year, the Oklahoma Sooners jump to Alabama, and Brent Venables gets his signature win. Not like last year, because last year Alabama was an injured tiger, an injured elephant. Sorry. Now they are healthy. They are a powerful team. They're second behind A&M. Now Oklahoma has the signature win to hang their hat on. And look at the SEC. If the SEC tries to keep them out, they say, "Hey, bitch, I beat the number 4 team in the nation, fuckers. So put me in the playoffs." Excuse my language and stuff like that. But I'm just saying that's what happens. I know I try to keep it child friendly here, but just I have to show some emotions because this is a big win. Like I said, this game. So I don't know why you guys should be able to see me better. That's why this game mattered a lot. Because now the committee is probably wondering how they left Oklahoma this big old pile of shit, and then Oklahoma eats it and like, delicious. Throw me another schedule. And this also showed this now Oklahoma, thanks to this, is battle tested to face Texas A&M if they make it into the playoffs. That's right. Alabama just battle tested Oklahoma. If you can beat Alabama, Oklahoma is going to make the playoff. Period. Again, Missouri, not a problem. They don't have Bo Pribira. Thank you, Vanderbilt, for that one. And then LSU, thank you, A&M, for destroying the morale and actual crux of the LSU Tigers, and not only for firing Brian Kelly, but also for ending the Death Valley reign of terror. Thank you so much for that, and I respect you, love you. Let's hug it out, we'll wink arms, and say, "Hallelujah, the number 14 goes down." So thank you, Vanderbilt. Thank you, another underdog, Vanderbilt, and also thank you so much, A&M, for destroying LSU. Otherwise, we might have been for a treat. Oklahoma, done it. Well, this is an interesting sight. Both helmets are stuck in each other. Yeah, they got it out. They'll show this rivalry so heavy hitting that their helmets get stuck together. This sums up the game. It's gonna be summing up the game real quick. But yeah, just overall, you can't have this. You can't. Alabama can't just have this. This cannot. Uh, this just you cannot have this if you're Alabama. You just can't. But anyways, that is it for this. Oklahoma survives their test. Right, their signature. They not only get their signature win, but they get the win they've been needing from the beginning after losing to Texas. And you just wonder if they'd won Texas with John Mateer's arm still healthy, maybe they would be undefeated in the conference. Well, maybe they would be a one-loss team because John Mateer is back. Third down, probably coming up here for Texas, unless he reached the ball forward, so I give him forward progress. Go on, Jim Kirby. Go, Kirby Smart. Kirby, Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse do it again. We need Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Come in for the ride. Which this also now means, no matter what, if Georgia wins, which they probably will, Texas gets knocked out and Alabama is tied with Georgia in loss. So this has shaken up, and like we said, if Oklahoma wins, this is going to make this race even harder. Now, as an Oklahoma fan, you're just look here. Let me explain. Even if Texas wins, they still have A&M. And A&M now has a clutch bone in them. We now know that. And so I don't think if Vanderbilt can do what they did to Texas, think about what happens if A&M does it. It's going to be a lot worse because they actually have the talent to do it. Not just Diego Pavia, but they have the talent. Which means even if Georgia wins, even if Georgia loses, this just means the top 4 and 5 team lose at home to inferior opponents. But other than that, Texas still would have to win out A&M. The good thing about this schedule for Oklahoma is they both each team both had to play an out of conference schedule. But the thing with this one, Oklahoma beat. Okay, also this is okay. I didn't even know. We're gonna drop. I'm gonna write this down for real quick. Get out this paper here. I'm gonna write this down because this is funny. So you want to know? If you want to know how parity is in football, let me just tell you this. Let me just explain this to you. It's also maybe foreshadowing. What is it? Week 1? Was it week 1? Yeah, week 1. Week 1, Ohio State beats Texas. Then that night, week 1, that night, Oklahoma beats Michigan. And that means oh god, I just realized this. Dropped 4th down and 4 and out. Anyways, that means Ohio State beats Michigan. The parities write themselves. I can't believe it. If Texas won against Ohio State, they would be the same record with Oklahoma. But because Oklahoma won their out of conference game, Michigan, Oklahoma didn't have that. They had. Okay, let me go back here. Starting the season off, Oklahoma was what was that? They were let's before Texas. What were they at? Were they 3-0? I think they were 3-0 against Texas before going into Red River. Then they got their first loss to Texas. Texas lost to Ohio State. So Texas then had to play everyone else. So they're already in a must win. So then Texas. Let's see, Texas. So then Texas wins. So Texas wins out. So the Ohio State prevents Texas from jumping Oklahoma even if they win. And not only if they win, but this Ohio State giving Texas the loss and Oklahoma winning. So basically that first week, Oklahoma guaranteed if they beat Alabama were safe from Texas. Because even Red River wouldn't have mattered because Texas would still play Georgia and A&M. Oklahoma won their test of strength, mind you, which means now that Oklahoma beat their major opponent, and we'll call them rival at this point, and they beat them on the road, which is even better because that'll look good in the long run on the committee because of recency bias, maybe. Now Georgia has to win to show that Alabama wasn't a fluke loss and that it was an actual good loss. Because Oklahoma now won close to Alabama, but now people are going to look at Georgia and be like, why did you lose to Alabama? Alabama just lost to Oklahoma, who is way worse than you on paper. However, if Georgia wins, since Oklahoma won, that loss to Alabama suddenly looks respectable because it just means Georgia played a very good Alabama team. We'll see what that does. We'll talk about that on Monday. Going back to this game, going back to the whole playoff thing, like I said, now we have entered the chaos for the playoff chaos supreme has arrived in full force. Texas, despite having the same record as Oklahoma, they have the loss to Michigan. Sorry, it's not. Yeah, despite having the same record, 9-3 with Oklahoma, Oklahoma already beat their top opponent. Let's just walk through it. We're gonna slow down. We're gonna get rid of the screaming moment, but let's just walk through it, and then I'll move on because I'm gonna rant for so long about this. Oklahoma, because everything else in SEC happened. Vanderbilt destroyed Missouri by knocking Bo Prabir out. Then A&M destroyed the belt to ass with LSU in Death Valley, ending Death Valley as a whole. Set up Oklahoma to have some of the easiest competition after Alabama. And guess what? Now Texas, in order for Texas to beat Oklahoma in the rankings and therefore get into the playoffs over Oklahoma, they must win out not only Georgia, but win to A&M in the Lone Star Shootout, the Lone Star Showdown, in order for them to win. Because if they, 10-2, Texas has the head-to-head over Oklahoma. So, this is a must-win game for Texas at this point. Again, so if Oklahoma lost, then Texas this game would not matter. But this game this now becomes a must-win for Texas because of the loss because of Oklahoma beating Alabama. So keep an eye on that. That's all I'm going to say about that right now. Congratulations. The nightmare's over and I can sleep with the peace in knowing that we won. Oh my God, I was fearing this from the very beginning. Actually, after week 4 against Red River, I was fearing this game. And that's over. Let's put it in the books. The story's done. The comeback for Oklahoma stays alive. Meanwhile, you've got heads over town. They were State. Let's go for this. Normal. That's kind of scary if you look at it wrong. That is a kind of a scary game for Georgia Tech. They still wanted a win to win. We'll just look past that. Sorry, Iowa. Yeah, just couldn't out. You had to outlast them, and that's it. Oh well. I salute you, brethren of Iowa. It was a good run. Enjoy your bowl game. Peace. Michigan. You're very vulnerable. We'll see come Ohio State. Virginia. Okay. It is safe to say doomsday has been avoided for the ACC. That is right. With this loss from Duke, doomsday is not going to happen in the ACC. Virginia saves the ACC, and that is the most ironic thing I've seen. Because Virginia is normally the doormat of the ACC alongside Boston College and the rest. But the fact that it was Virginia that saved the ACC from doomsday is incredible. If Georgia Tech lost and Duke won, Duke would win. They could have a shot to take the title for themselves. But because of Virginia, we avoid doomsday, and the ACC will at least get one member in. Not two, not three, not four, but one. We'll go to the American. We'll talk a lot about these games in the recap on Monday. But I want to tell you right now, so far, it appears there's only one. Oh my God. Oh, we might change the ESPN. Ooh, Florida. Fourth and Ole Miss punts the ball away to Florida. Holy crap. We might have some more bombs drop. Just beware. We're not out of the air raid yet. But this game, I would keep an eye on this game. Just keep an eye on it. Ooh. We also have this game, TCU. Yeah, technically we do have one more game, TCU and BYU, but I think that BYU is going to handle TCU, just FYI. But yeah, let's go overhead. I might as well do it now because we only do this for college football. But we know where clowns of the week are. Let's go ahead and roll out the dead and get those clown of the weeks going. Let's name them off. Let me write them all down. Okay. So we have South Carolina, we have Cincinnati. Who else? Oh wait, we got Duke. No, Alabama. They fought hard. They earn it. Oklahoma earns it. I don't want to take that away. Let's see who else. Pittsburgh, because they didn't even try. They didn't even try. Georgia. Well, yes, even though Georgia Tech won, they still deserve some clowning for almost losing to Boston College. So they will get that as well. Michigan, well, yeah, I guess. Michigan, they get it, I guess. The Duke. South Florida, it's not really an upset. And that's pretty much it. Minnesota, because I know how to roast Minnesota. Minnesota. I know how to roast Minnesota. Done. There it is. Georgia gets a touchdown and they take the lead. So let's go through our clown of the weeks. Here's your candidates: Cincinnati, South Carolina, Duke, Pitt, Georgia Tech, Michigan, Minnesota. We're going to go off of who got the worst end of the game. Minnesota, we'll have a special segment for them. Cincinnati, sure seems like the front runner. Let's go check out the other ones. Duke, I wouldn't really call it. You know what? Nah, they were already dead anyways. They're not even making a bowl now. So we'll just cross off Duke to begin with. Michigan, they might be our second. Iowa, I guess. Iowa's probably going to miss out on Clown of the Week. We're going to do 3 Clown of the Week because I feel like that's necessary. I'm just going to do it all right. Iowa, they've been through enough. Georgia Tech, second. And then Pitt, I would have it third. I'd have Pitt beat. Now, South Carolina would take the final one. Pitt's, we'll do 4. I'll make 4. We'll have 4. Minnesota, Georgia Tech, and South Carolina. Sorry, not Georgia. Yeah, 4. Minnesota, Georgia Tech, Pitt, South Carolina. So let's go in Cincinnati, so that's 5. Let's go, let me put them in the rankings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cincy definitely gets Cincy's going to be our first. Then we'll do South Carolina. Then Georgia Tech, Pitt, Minnesota. All right, there we go. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's get the clown music fired up. That's kind of all we're doing for that. That's done. Let's share the screen. You guys ready? It is time to announce the... Make sure this is loud. Here we go. Enjoy. I'm going to let you guys enjoy this in peace. I do kind of need it back, actually. I do need that back. Let me pull up that ESPN thing back. I need it back again. need it back. We'll see if you guys can hear this, but alright. Here you go. Let's go full screen on these guys. Who's ready? Who's ready to clown on a team? Give it up for Cincinnati, folks. Fucking moron. Bad down this, bad down it. One first Big 12 team fall. They are now eliminated from title. Unless they do. Now they possibly can't go to BYU, can they? But wait, we're not done just yet. We'll reset. We're not done yet. Cincinnati, you've done your part. Don't forget, we still have 4 others to do. We have 4 others to do still, so let's go back to here. Also, now I can do that. Here's our next one. What is our next one? Who's number 2? South Carolina. I'm going to do this for everyone. Alright, let's go get the other one. Let's go get the other. Yeah, it's going to be laggy, so let's go with it. Alright, let's get this guy out. Let's see. Alright, they're going to be lined up in the firing squad as well. Close you out. Alright, here's our next person. Our next victim. Get the firing ready. The firing squad is ready, sir. And then Georgia Pitt. Alrighty, the firing squad is ready, sir. Give it up for the Cubs. They cocked themselves again. They cocked it up again, boys. Who could have guessed? It's not even October more they show themselves again. Congratulations, South Carolina. You are now the doormat of the ACC again. You had a shot and you blew it. No, you're now back to being doorstop, that doormat of the SEC. You never can win them, huh, can you? No north south can't run on. No north south can run, but you can't hide. Okay, they've had their time. Good luck, South Carolina. Hope you can make it to a bowl game. All right, let's go to our next person. Who could have guessed? Good old Pitt. Wait, did I pick Pitt? Was it Pitt next? No, Georgia Tech, sorry. There they are. There they are, man. Oh, you guys thought you guys could escape? No, 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 no. Not under my watch. Line up the firing squad and it is history over. Georgia Tech. The only reason you got this win, you only get this because you almost lost a Boston College. They only did. You played a 1-10 team to the end. You still won, but I don't think you can win. Good luck, you fuckers. Go face a real competition. Go face fucking Georgia. Then we'll talk. Alright, it's a bit shorter, but they did win, so I'm not going to clown on them too hard. But, ooh, we can clown on this guy because they're man of their word. They're man of the word. I'll tell you this much. He is a man of his word. We'll tell you that much. Where's that press conference at? We'll play it as well. I'm going to take a shower. Let's turn this down a bit. We've got 2 more people to do. So I'm just going to be quiet. Watch you guys roast me. But I'm not going to put this little thing in. We can lose by 101. Let's see if we can find it. Go to you. I'll save Minnesota for the recap. So technically we do have one. We only have one more person left. I'll save it for the recap. We can lose by 101 and still not. What is that press conference? Hit head coach. We can lose and still win.
100 up on us as long as we win the next two after that. But again, our focus is on Notre Dame and getting as many wins as we can.
Do you feel like this is a must-win for this team when it comes to something?
Absolutely not. It is not an ACC game. I'm glad you brought that up. It's not an ACC game. I gladly get beat 103 or 110 to 10 in that game. They can put 100 up on us as long as we win the next two after that. But again,
see you guys on Monday.